It's a gentleman Grochowski show. Everybody, don't you know? It's a gentleman Grochowski show. Everybody, don't you know? It's a gentleman Grochowski show. Everybody, don't you know? It's a gentleman Grochowski show.
I have a pleasure right now to announce on the show Kevin Riome from Second City. He was mine and Partey's Second City teacher. Kevin Riome. How are you, Kevin?
Awesome. This is great. This is very fun.
How do you feel?
I feel good.
Oh,
Good.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's exciting. This is kind of a fun moment for me and Partey since you taught us level C, I think it was,
Yep.
right?
Level C.
Yeah. What?
You're the only two guys in there that were any good.
Oh, come on now.
Everyone
Come
else, I
on.
don't know. Everyone else was terrible.
That's what I want to hear. We're going to pay him off good, I guess.
Right.
But tell us about how you got involved in comedy, because you've been at Second City for over 10 years as a teacher.
Yeah, I went to Western Michigan University, go Broncos, and but I had a teacher who recommended that I take an improv class then. So this is back in college, and I had the opportunity to take one, even though I was an education major, or an English major with education emphasis, and then so I did that and I loved it. Once, a few years later when I moved to Chicago, I suddenly realized that I could actually take classes at Second City. I'd go and see the shows there.
Okay.
And it was Steve Carell and Stephen Colbert and Amy Sedaris were on that main stage. And when I found out that there were classes I could take, I signed up. But had I not taken those classes in college, or that one class in college, I think I wouldn't have had the nerve. I almost didn't have the nerve anyway.
Okay.
I mean, I was scared. I walked through the snow, and I walked up those stairs with my stupid little checkbook in 1993, and I was petrified, and I just had to keep saying to myself, don't think, just do it. Don't think, just do it. And then I wrote my check, and I said, well, I'm not rich. I have to do it now.
Right.
Now I have to go take these classes. Yeah. So that was 93.
Well, what about improv scared you? Or was it comedy, or was it improv?
I think it's just the normal getting up in front of people, and of course back then not really knowing that I didn't have to be funny, and I didn't know anyone in the class. Just all the. It's easy for me to project myself right back to that time, and it makes me a better teacher because I know what it's like to be completely petrified of that, and I want to teach to that person. I want them to have a good time. I don't care if they're there to, be a comedian or make it on main stage or they have SNL aspirations. The fact that they're in that classroom, I just want them to have a good time, be successful, relax, have fun with people in there, make some friends. But I just felt like I was kind of the perfect person for that because I know exactly what that's all about, and I'm still that way.
Right.
I take workshops and I still get petrified. It just happens.
Now, what do you tell a young student that comes in? Now, everyone obviously comes to Second City. They think they're funny, or someone said they're funny. You should go to Second City, right?
Right.
So everyone coming in has a little bit of maybe baggage or a little bit of they're patting themselves on the back, right? What do you tell the person that's nervous about it?
I think the first thing is there isn't a lot of talking. There's not a lot of telling. There's not like me standing up and saying like, okay, at Second City you do this, or in improv you blah blah blah. I just make them get up. We start doing silly games. I want them to forget where they are and what they're doing, and these are the small baby steps that we start taking to getting up in front of people and improvising on the spot. But so initially, I just want to see if I can get them to have fun and forget about it. And actually, there are going to be group exercises where they're not on the spot. They're not going to be expected to do anything except play this ridiculous game. But, people still have nerves. I do, little yoga breathing technique thing where you inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. We're all nervous. Whew. We're better. But it does. It like loosens up the knots in the stomach. I do it. I mean, I get nervous about stupid stuff. I get nervous about like, oh, I have to go to the customer service desk and complain about this product that's broken for the third time. Like, you know, I'm in traffic and I'm doing this. If I'm in a crowd and it's like, do we have any questions? I'm like, you know, and I put up my hand and I start going, all right, just get your question out. Don't be nervous. I'm nervous about everything, and that little breathing technique saves me a lot of times because nobody can really see that I'm doing it.
Right.
You can do it kind of sneaky, and but you know, as far as in an improv class, I think number one is do not worry about being funny. Do not try to be funny. If you try to be funny, you're gonna have a miserable time of it.
Okay.
And if you just react real and you just kind of have fun and you don't care, if you can just, it's hard to do because I know, you know, the 20-something me had a tough time not caring. You know, I'm a better improviser in my later years because I just don't care as much.
Right.
You know, and I think that is part of it when you just start to go like, I don't care what people think. And maybe I'm surrounded by a bunch of people who are cool and they're supporting me, and I take a chance at something and I fail miserably. Well, they all got my back. No one's gonna get on me for anything I do.
And is it also when you're younger? That's when you're a little bit more unsure of yourself, I would think, and that's where I think you might learn something from Second City. The fact that you don't have to. It's not all about you, and it's also not. It's about everybody, and you know, and that's what you would learn from Second City. That it's a group effect, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not just one person.
That's I mean, that's the difference. And I know you had stand-up comedians here earlier. Like that's they're night and day. We're both in comedy, but it's night and day. It's cats and dogs, you know. I mean, they're both house pets, but the you know, the approach with stand-up is just such a different thing and such a different mentality, and you are up there all alone. I give everything to them, and you know, maybe on their side they would say like, oh my God, but I couldn't get up on a stage and not know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Or, you know, we don't have as big a problem with that because we have other people to not know what we're going to say with. So yeah, but it is you're not out there on an island all by yourself, and yeah, it's all about making your scene partner look good, and so yeah.
Yeah, and just it's amazing, just yes and. Well, no matter what I said, Party, that's a beautiful shirt you're wearing.
Yes, and I agree with you, Lizzie Governor.
Yes. You know, it's just anything you say. I was going to say pink shirt, but I didn't say pink shirt for some reason. But I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Everything is okay.
Right.
With improv.
There's no mistakes.
Yeah.
And you know, the yes and is not you know, it's not necessarily agreeing to jump off a cliff. It is agreeing that is a blue shirt or that is a pink shirt. You know, if you said that was a pink shirt, if you said that was a shirt with elephants on it, no matter what, he knows he's going to say yes, and I got it at a thrift store, or whatever. You know, the yes is the acceptance of the reality. The and is just adding some other little detail, some other, you know, and it doesn't have to be brilliant. It just has to be something, and then you can start building this thing together.
Yeah. Now, Partey, what were some of the things that you remember from improv classes, or anything that maybe you want to ask Kevin?
Oh, yes. One thing I got to tell Kevin, and I appreciate it, what he really taught me was that normally statements that I would make and ask as a question, he taught me to divert from that and rephrase that question into a statement. And I tell you, you taught me well that.
Well, and the thing with that is great for an improv scene. But the reason it's difficult is it goes completely counter to the way we associate with each other. You know, so you know you're at some kind of cocktail party or barbecue or something, and there's some people you haven't seen in the neighborhood. Well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna ask them a bunch of questions.
That's true.
That's what you do.
Right.
In fact, I'm bad at that. You know, I'm bad at that. I mean, people will ask me like, "Oh, so what's going on with the family? Yeah, what have you been up to? What have you been doing?" I answer all those questions, and I just sit there. You know, I never think to ask them questions back like you're supposed to, like normal people do to communicate. You're like, "Oh, well, how's your family? Oh, I haven't seen you, blah blah, whatever." But yeah, in improv, it just makes things go a little bit faster. It doesn't put your scene partner on the spot. You make statements. It solidifies whatever the reality is. You know, instead of you saying like, "Oh, Partey, what is that, a blue shirt, or would you say it's a black shirt?" Like, screw that. Just say what it is. It's a blue shirt, because no matter what you say, he's going to say yes and. So you just establish reality and you get there quick.
Now, you've been teaching at Second City for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Almost
10 years.
Almost 10 years. Has comedy changed anything? Has improv changed anything? Is anything different in improv than there was? Has it evolved or morphed into anything else over the last years?
It seems like it's hard. It's hard to tell. It's definitely hard to tell. I think, the thing that becomes difficult to tell is comedy changing, or is my perspective on comedy changing? And I tend to think that it's a little bit of, I can only sometimes see it through me, in that, what do I see different about it? Well, I'm more quick to see what the cliches are, and more desperate to stay away from them. But when I was starting out, I didn't know what the cliches were. You had to do them to know. And, there was a little bit of, I went to, a few years ago, I went to an improv Olympic show. Sorry, I.O. That's showing my age. And I just watched this group do a Herald, and I don't know, man. It was just rushing back of just, it was hard to stay in that theater. I wanted to bolt out of this theater and run. Was it that they were doing anything wrong? No. It's that they were doing the same stuff I had been doing 10 years earlier, and there was something that was just so lame about it. Not their fault. My perspective as to thinking that I've grown out of it. I mean, it's still good improv. It was just like, you do these openings and you do these pattern games. I'm like, oh my God, this is such a weird flashback to those early days. So I just think I change. I'm not sure if I can put my finger on. Definitely outside of improv, if I'm just talking about things I see on TV and commercials and stuff, it seems like awkward comedy is the thing that's the big thing. Like Michael Cera, and Superbad, like every commercial, its joke is that somebody was awkward. Like, oh my gosh, we can hear you. Like those little snappy comebacks. I'm like, that's starting to get old. Yeah. That's the awkward thing was fun for a while. I don't know what's next, but the awkward thing is, I think it's gonna be on its way out. I can't imagine sticking around for so much longer.
Now, someone that is not doesn't want to be a comedian or doesn't want to be an actor, what would they get out of taking classes at Second City?
I mean, they are. I think first and foremost, they are interpersonal communications classes. I mean, I think another way to look at them is that they are acting classes for those who think they're coming in to be a comedian. It's like, no, be a good actor. Don't worry about cracking jokes. Be a good actor, and you're going to be a good improviser. But also, if you work hard in these classes for improv, they may also teach you to be a good person, to be a person who communicates well, who listens well, who. Right. There was one time where I had a class who asked for individual evaluations, each student. So I did it. And there was 16 of them in there. I'm like, okay, here are your strengths. Here are things you can work on. Right. 2 years after I sent those out, a guy writes back to me and he's like, I don't do improv anymore. I live in Seattle now, but I kept your email because the things that you said that were my strengths and the things that I could work on, actually, I still apply those to my life. Okay. Because sometimes I do talk over people. Sometimes I do bully people around a stage or in whatever his work environment was. He goes, and those things that helped keep me in check on some of the things that I was doing as a person, not necessarily an improviser. He's done with improv. He got what he needed from it and is applying it to his life. So yeah, I think that there's a lot to say for just being able to communicate with people, get up in front of people, and there's a lot of people that are in different fields, teaching or advertising or law, where they're up in front of people, and it's kind of the Malcolm Gladwell thing where you do the 10,000 hours until you are proficient or until you're an expert in something. It's just like sometimes putting in your reps. You get up in front of people enough times, it's not going to be as hard. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but it's not going to be as hard.
Yeah. And then Partey, what would you say to that?
I would say that in the overall reality that things have definitely changed, and as much as we try to stick with our own things and keep them the same, that a person goes on in life that something that they can't control, whether it might something happen as far as a natural disaster, or they got they got promoted in their job. It's something that you taught him in class that just it worked. Not only did it work on the improv classes that you taught him, but it worked with maybe, like, for example, he might have had to deal with a bad coworker at his job.
What was it like for you? Pre-improv Partey, post-improv Partey. What is your life different?
My life is much different now. I'm much more open now. Normally, like, for example, if I was interested, let's say relationship-wise, normally when I was interested in a female, I just wanted to talk to her. I wouldn't say nothing. I wouldn't say nothing out before Second City. I was scared. I would hold back.
Yeah.
But now I open up conversations, not only with females I like, but people in general.
People you don't like.
I don't like, but like, for example, I'm a huge player of lottery. So now I just go in front of people and talk about numbers and random. So
That's awesome.
But before it's improv classes, I'll be as quiet as a chair.
Yeah.
I would not say a word.
I had a pre and post. There was it was my birthday on the day that my cousin was getting married. Okay. And so what am I gonna do? It's her day. I just have to sit there and eat it. No one's wishing me happy birthday. I don't get to do anything. I just sit there. And then my dad, he knew it was my birthday, and I had this other cousin. It was her birthday. She was like a year younger than me, but same exact birthday. He went up to the DJ and said, "Hey, it's their birthday. You want to play something for them?" It's kind of before a lot of things started, right after dinner in the reception, and then starts playing the "Today Is Your Birthday" Beatle, and the DJ calls us up there. "Hey, Kevin and Kirsten, come on up to the dance floor," and he starts playing that. We're on the dance floor, and we're supposed to dance. There's like 200 people there. I'm supposed to just get down.
I could do it.
Get down and boogie.
I could do it after improv classes.
Oh,
I know
okay.
what I would have done before improv classes. I would have said, "Screw you!" I'd have been out of there. I'd have been in tears. It would have just been humiliating. I never would have done it. But I don't think I realized it. I didn't think about the improv aspect of it until as I was out there dancing. We're out there just dancing, and my dad said, "Those improv classes are paying off for you." I'm like, "You're damn right they are, old man.
Yes.
You're damn right they are." It's something.
That's awesome.
It changes you.
It's just I've always enjoyed improv, and I've taken some classes, and I went through it, and I think you get a lot out of it, just being in the moment. Where people aren't always in the moment, they're always thinking about what they're going to do next, what they're going to say next. I think that was the biggest thing with improv and the way they teach there is be in the moment, and there's no bad answer. Everything is good regardless, right?
Well, and translate that to your regular life. I mean, yes, obviously we have to make plans for future, and it helps us to reflect on the past. However, when people, I have twin daughters, and people will say, "Well, hey, what's your favorite age? What's your favorite age with these kids?" I'm like, their age now. Right now. What am I going to do? Pine for the days of when they were 3 or hope that they're going to be 18 and can bail me out of jail or something? No, right now, because if I'm thinking about those things, I'm missing what's happening right in front of me.
You're thinking the teenage years when you'd be batting those boys off the door.
They're not attractive, so I'm all right.
Oh. I'm sure they're pretty. You spent some time in Japan. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so in last May, I went to Japan. I went to Osaka, Japan for 2 weeks to teach improv for Second City, and it was insane. It was like being on Mars. I'd never been to any place like that, and my first day there, I'm with these 2 other guys who are Japanese, and they're just talking, and we're walking around the streets, and they keep like looking back, like, what a, why are you walking so slow? And I had to say, like, hey, listen, I just want you to know, every time we turn a corner, I'm seeing stuff I've never seen before.
Right.
My brain is exploding inside. And so all of that was just really cool. Then I'm teaching to college-age students who are there in a comedy program in Osaka. And I am teaching improv, which is not what they do there. They do not do any kind of improv. They do stuff that's more like vaudeville. They do like this, it's called manzai. And manzai is, it's like, in fact, like, if the two of you guys were going through their program, you very well might be paired up. They'll just, I don't know if it's, I don't want to say it's random, but they will pair up people to be manzai teams, and one of you will be like the smart guy, the other guy will be the dumb guy, like Abbott and Costello. And the dumb guy will say something dumb, and the smart guy will smack him in the face, and everyone laughs, and you go like, this is horrible. It is Stooges. And, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love that, but it's like their comedy hasn't necessarily evolved. It's just continued to do that. So they have at this company in Japan, they're having a little bit of foresight of like, what else can we do? What what else is there? And so they are trying to put in a full-fledged improv program, and I was part of that, and it's still ongoing. But so I'm teaching these college-age students through an interpreter. That was the most messed up part of it. Yeah. So I would have to, I'd have to say like, okay, so you're gonna want to go like this to one guy and say zip, and the other person will say zap, and the other person will say zap, and then it's like, my translator go like, well done, my zip, I'm zap, and then they do it, and what was great about them, they really, maybe you already could guess this, they're just so respectful. Yeah. I know they don't know what I'm saying, but that doesn't stop them from giving me straight on eye contact. Each one of them just straight looking at me like they know exactly what I'm saying. I'm like, and I'd forget. I'm like, oh, that's right. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about right now, but you're giving me. It's kind of like this. We're giving and getting inner energy, like they're sending me their energy just by looking at me, and then so that was cool. But then scenes would go on, and the interpreter guy would be in my ear translating what's going on in the scene, and it'd be like, I don't want you in my store anymore. Well, why not? I have been coming to this store for 15 years. And I'd have to go like, and pretend that I knew what the hell was going on, but it was it was still great because they had so much energy, again, so much respect. You walk into the classroom and they'd bow, they'd be in a line, they'd be just standing there waiting, and I'd go in and they'd say this thing. I don't know what it means. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but they go "Andemasu." They'd all say it, and I go, and I wouldn't know. I'd say Namaste. I wouldn't know what to say.
Well, let me ask you, did you ever go, Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto?
No.
Oh, come on. No. That's what I'd love to do that in Japan.
No, you know what we did do there? I didn't say Mr. Roboto.
I would. Come on.
If you say it to like a 17-year-old kid, you get the same reaction. What? You old SOB?
But you're the one that's laughing.
I know.
It would be funny. Wouldn't it be funny to you?
It would.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Well, you know what was funny to me? All right. You remember the show, the game Samurai?
Okay.
Yes.
Remember?
Oh, yes. Yes.
I had
Japanese.
Right. I had the Japanese students playing Samurai. However, I checked ahead of time. I'm like, is this offensive? Oh. I checked with my guy. I'm like, there's this game I want to play. I don't know. Like, is the samurai like really revered? We're making fun of it. And he was laughing. He was like, no, we are playing that game. And I'm like, really? And these guys, they just took to it. I had them play the Fred Schneider game. You remember the Fred Schneider game?
The Fred Schneider. No.
Hey, Fred Schneider, what are you doing?
Yes.
But it was just hilarious because they would say it in English. and it was hilarious. It was
Okay.
ridiculous to have these guys
And it's just
play the
something-
Fred Schneider game.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about the Riom Awards?
It's the Riom Awards of Chicago to benefit Alzheimer's research. But it is, don't let the Alzheimer's part fool you, it is a ridiculous comedy show, a fake award show. I think one of my least favorite things to watch on TV is an award show. So I think part of my motivation is, let's make this one fun. Let's make
Okay.
it watchable. Let's make it good. And to some degree, let's make it insane. I'm trying to. I realize also that it is kind of almost like a variety show.
Okay.
Because there's just all the awards are fake. They're all gags.
Right.
But then there's going to be music and there's going to be video, and I'm going to have some cameo appearances, like the NBC5 show, where I
Okay.
have some of the reporters from NBC5 showing up and doing some of the gags and
Cool.
presenting and yeah. So
All right.
yeah, so every show is going to be different. In fact, even the categories of best Chicago accent, stuff like that.
Cool.
They're going to be ridiculous best of
Cool. Well,
categories.
Definitely,
All
part two will
right.
take it.
All right. All right.
Excellent.
All right.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have you be guest presenters.
Ooh,
Hey.
That would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
That would be
I would
awesome.
love that.
cool. All right, and any final words about comedy or about anything regarding improv that maybe people just take for granted that you might want to say out there? Something you've learned or
You know what, though? I think that there are some people out there who believe that there are that these improv comedy classes aren't for them. You know, they're only for actors, or they're only for comedians, and that that's not my thing. I don't want to be in comedy. It sounds fun, but I don't want to be overwhelmed by people who are really funny and good actors and comedians, and that is not the case. I mean, it really couldn't be farther from it. In that there's a ton of people there who are just regular people, and everyone has their own reason for being there, and they're all valid. So if you're just there just to blow off steam, some people call it the cheapest form of therapy. If you're there, just to meet people, to have a good time with new people. I mean, when I moved to the city, I knew nobody.
Okay.
And, lo and behold, 90% of the friends I have on Facebook, even now, are all comedians, are all in improv. It gave me a community. And that's the thing, is that you don't even have to be great in it. That's what's great about Chicago, is that you could be an okay improviser and still have a ton of stuff to do in Chicago, in all these different theaters, all these different jams and open mic type things. So do it not to make it. Do it just to do it for fun.
Right. Cool. And like I said, I've had fun. Party's had fun, and I've had fun interviewing you. Which is, like I said, it's been an honor to interview one of my teachers.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Party feels the same way, right?
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. And we're gonna play beer pong now.
All right,
That's
there you
right.
go.
I'm
There you
old
go.
enough to have never played that.
Oh, really? Well, you're not missing out. There's not really much there. See, the real way to do it is you got to drink out of the cup, but they don't do it that way.
No.
Because the ball's always on the floor.
That's right.
But but you're supposed to drink out of that cup.
Yeah.
But isn't that a
seems
dirty
fun.
little thing, just bouncing that ball around, and you know where it's just rolling around. So
So
they're playing it wrong.
Yeah. But I tell you though, not for the faint of heart though.
No, not at all.
No, I'm not playing that game.
All right, thanks for stopping by, Mr. Kevin Riom.
It's a gentleman Grochowski show. Everybody, don't you know? Boom, boom.